Do you want to supercharge your points and miles earning? Does the sound of earning over 10 points per dollar for your hotel stay sound good to you? If so, then Poitnshound and Rocket Miles may be just what you're looking for. These programs can allow you to stock up on particularly hard to earn point currencies like Alaska Miles and Asia Miles to get you that much closer to that Instagram worthy cabin in the sky. But does it come at a cost? After all, you can't get something for nothing, right? Right? What's going on YouTube? Welcome to Mike's Travels and Cents, where I go over points and travel strategies and, more importantly, how not to go broke while enjoying it all. If that sounds good to you, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future content like this. And if you find some value in this video, treat the thumbs up button like a fingerprint scanner to let me know. With all that out of the way, let's get into the video. For those who don't know, Rocketmiles and Pointshound are both OTAs, or online travel agencies, that offer consumers huge point bonuses when booking hotels through their sites. These bonuses range from 1,000 to 10,000 points per stay in various point programs at hotels all across the world. In this video, I'm going to differentiate between these two OTAs and let you in on how to get some serious value from these programs. After all, they do both get a lot of flack for having inflated prices, especially when compared to other OTAs. So of course, I'm going to have some examples in this video for those who are just like me and really benefit from visual aids. So first up, we're going to look at some of the quirks and features of Rocketmiles. Shout out to Doug. If you know, you know. Rocketmiles is part of Booking Holdings, which includes other OTAs like Priceline, Kayak, Bookings.com, and RentalCars.com. When looking at some of the affiliated rewards programs, we do have some of the heavy hitters like Alaska Miles, Asia Miles, American Advantage, and United Mileage Plus. This is heavily advantageous to those frequent travelers because you can rack up on a bunch of these miles without having to deal with the annual fees of the credit cards, not to mention those terribly low multipliers. Also of note, Rocketmiles is partnered with American Express, which allows you to earn membership reward points on top of all the other airline programs on the site. This is one of the key differences between Rocketmiles and Poitnshound, but more on that later. All in all, there are over 60 different rewards programs that you can choose points for, which is huge, especially if you've done some due diligence and have some good trip planning habits, as this allows you to really target those points that you need to help you get to your destination. Notice I only said destination and not lodging, because Rocketmiles nor does Poitnshound offer any hotel points. On the topic of hotels, you will not receive hotel points for your bookings. And as far as honoring your elite status, it's really your mileage may vary as far as that goes. I do want to mention that due to the joint ownership of Rocketmiles and Bookings.com, you will see Bookings.com prices offered on Rocketmiles, which coincidentally, these will be the best or most competitive prices offered on Rocketmiles. It won't yield the most points typically, but this is where you'll find some of the best prices on Rocketmiles. Now, moving into the booking process, and things start out pretty typical. You put in your location and your desired date range for your hotel stays. However, before you hit that search button, you pick which point program you want to earn miles in for your stay. Also keep in mind that points don't change one-to-one with each search. So for example, if you search for a particular city and date range, you may see that you may be able to get 2,000 points for a particular hotel, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll also be getting 2,000 points in another point currency for that same hotel. For that reason, it's best to do multiple searches with different programs before finalizing your reservation. Once you've submitted your desired reservation dates and location, what you're going to see is the nightly rate and then the total points you're going to get for your entire stay. Let me emphasize, you're going to see your nightly rate, which does need to be multiplied on a nightly basis, and then you're going to see the points that you're going to get for that entire stay, which will not be multiplied. That is going to be your final points unless you decide to do a points boost, but more on that later. So one of the things I do want to point out is that Rocketmiles is very proud, or very eager to let you know, that these receipts that you'll get, or the invoices, will not have any indication of, points or point boost or any rewards program mentioned. And obviously, this is so people that are basically making these reservations on behalf of their company or on behalf of another individual, those people won't see that, basically somebody may have overpaid just to get more points for their stay. Now, I think this is particularly useful for those that travel on a per diem or something very similar to use or lose, essentially. Like if you have $300 in total to travel on a nightly basis, you can either use all 300 of those dollars or they just go away. In that case, I think it makes perfect sense to just basically stay somewhere and point boost and get as many points as you can, because if the money doesn't spend, it goes away anyway. Obviously, your employer wouldn't be too happy seeing that you overpay for a room just to get a couple more points, but Rocketmiles is here to save the day. There are a couple more differences between Rocketmiles and Poitnshound, but you'll see more of those in the examples. Moving on to Poitnshound, and we have a very similar user experience to Rocketmiles. One of the most obvious differences you're going to notice, though, is a significantly smaller number of affiliated rewards programs. We go from 60 plus with Rocketmiles to just 17 with Poitnshound. Don't worry though, the heavy hitters are still here. I'm talking those Asia Miles, Alaska Miles, American, and United. Outside of the number of partners, another thing you'll notice is some of their exclusive partners, and I'm talking some of the more budget-friendly airlines. So think JetBlue, not Southwest, JetBlue, Frontier, and Spirit Airlines. Unfortunately, where Poitnshound really falls behind is not having a flexible point currency. This makes this program a little difficult to use if you don't already have a use case in mind. As with Rocketmiles, you could just earn membership reward points and then choose your redemption later. But with Poitnshound, once you earn points for that airline, you're stuck. You can't transfer those points. I think it'd be really great to see Poitnshound partner with even Citi or Chase so you can earn some flexible point currencies. And I think even having less partners than Rocketmiles, I think that would make them very competitive. But anyway, looking through some more of the information on Poitnshound, and there's kind of mention of a rewards program within Poitnshound, as in when you stay your 5th and 20th night through Poitnshound, you're supposed to be able to get some type of boost to the points that you would earn on top of the regular rate. However, this mention is the only mention of this program on the site. I tried to Google it and I tried to look on the site for more information, but this is literally the only mention of the program I could find. So I found that a little odd. Also, similar to Rocketmiles, Poitnshound does allow you to do the point boost, so you can pay more for your room or your nightly rate to get more points for your stay. There are a few more key differences between Rocketmiles and Poitnshound, but I want to save that for the examples, which is now. Let's get to the screen. All right, so here we are looking at the secure booking or the checkout page for Poitnshound, and you'll notice a couple things when you're ready to check out. And so I'll just start with my first gripe, which if you look over to where the final price is supposed to be, you see that they actually highlighted the price of the total due now, which is the $400.38. But you also have $93.92 due at the hotel. So you're actually paying $494.30 in total. So I don't like how they basically visually emphasize the non-final price and really minimize the actual final price, which is what people really care about when they're doing the booking. Also notice that here you're earning 5,900 Alaska miles for your total stay, and this is just for 2 nights. And also look at the taxes before I go on. So here is $60.18, and I'm keeping the hotel, the dates, and everything the same. 1 room, 2 nights, 2 adults, March 6th through March 8th. So this is what you see when you're checking out through Rocketmiles. Notice the taxes and fees go up about $6 here, and the grand total at least is somewhat obvious, though I've seen several other checkouts on Rocketmiles where it's very similar to how Poitnshound does theirs. Also notice that in total you're going to earn 7,000 of those Alaska miles. And that resort fee is $46.96, which I believe was the same. No. Yeah, see, these fees are completely different. I don't know. There's no resort fee for Poitnshound, but there's a resort fee for... and they're different prices. See, so it's like the wild wild west when it comes to anything but the nightly rate with these programs. And I don't think it's just Poitnshound and Rocketmiles, but it is something to really pay attention to when you're booking. So here's that sample receipt from Rocketmiles that they're very proud of. You'll notice that there is no mention of points or point boost or any type of reward programs. It's just your pretty much standard reservation receipt. Now here I've kind of laid out the data for some comparisons I've done. I really only highlighted the Poitnshound and Rocketmiles, and I'll try and go through this quick because I know it's a lot, but so right off top, just going across, we have obviously the hotel name, the sources, how this booking was basically dummy made, the taxes, because I told you those things are fluctuating, the final price, total points. And mind you, with total points for Poitnshound and Rocketmiles, I did not want to include basically the points you would get from the credit card. So obviously when booking these, I have the Sapphire Reserve, so obviously I would pay for these hotels and get that 3x on top of the points I would get from Rocketmiles or Poitnshound. But to keep the math simple and just to be looking at what you're getting from the programs, I didn't include those in the total points. And so point programs, that's going to be the point currency that you're going to get, and you'll see that it changes depending on the situation. PPD is points per dollar, so that's how many points you're getting for, every dollar you spend. Point cost is how much over the lowest price you can get it are you paying basically to just get those miles. And then cost per mile is after paying for those miles, at what rate were you paying for them. So obviously the lower number the better, because you want to be paying as little as possible for each mile. So starting off, we have the Fairmont Chicago, and that final price came out to $446, and you're going to get a total of 1,338 ultimate reward points, and that's just swiping your Sapphire Reserve. So obviously no point cost, no cost per mile, and this is for a civilian. So I did include a military rate, which as you see is significantly lower than even booking directly from the hotel, and this is more so for my fellow military members. Just keep in mind when you're, because I know a lot of us, I myself used to do it a lot. You just go to Priceline, but you have to remember you won't get those military discounts booking through OTAs. You always want to check directly with the hotel, because sometimes that is the only place and the best place to get that military rate. So the total points are obviously going to be less because you're paying less, and it's pretty much the same thing. So looking at Poitnshound, and you'll see that there, as we saw, the taxes are greater for Poitnshound than for Rocketmiles, yet the final price is only 1 cent difference. See, I'm telling you, it's the wild wild west with these resort fees and taxes, man. I don't know what they're doing, but anyway, you also notice that you get 7,000 miles with Rocketmiles versus 5,900 with Poitnshound. And this is going to give you a better points per dollar for Rocketmiles, 14.19 points per dollar, which is a really big multiplier. And you're only going to be paying 1 cent more to get over 1,000 points more with Rocketmiles. And you're going to be paying significantly less because that multiplier is significantly higher. So only 67 cents to get 7,000 points versus 80 cents to only get 5,900. Jumping down to the Peninsula Chicago, if you haven't noticed, I'm from Chicago. I'm not in Chicago, but the Peninsula Chicago is actually a bucket list hotel of mine. So I'm definitely going to try and get there one day. It's going to be a little tough because they're not part of an awards program. So I'm going to have to give up some dead prezzies to get there. But anyway, looking at the Peninsula, and this first booking is straight from the Peninsula site. And we have taxes that stay pretty consistent with only a fluctuation of $1 pretty much across any of them. And the final price is also pretty similar. And my assumption with this is that the higher you get in these luxury hotels and stuff, the less room you have to really play with the prices because the prices are already so high. So you're going to see that the total points you're going to be able to get from here is 2,810 ultimate rewards, and that's going to give you, that's just basically using your Sapphire Reserve. Next up, threw in a curveball here, and this is booking through American Express or Chase. and the price is actually going to be just 2 cents higher, but the Peninsula is part of basically the luxury hotel programs from both Chase and American Express. So you're going to get that $100 like novelty fee or whatever, so you can use it for dining or a spa or something, and you're going to get guaranteed late checkout, a room upgrade when available, early check-in, and all that stuff. So for only 2 cents more, you're going to get all those things. And then obviously I have the platinum card, so I will use the platinum for that, and that's going to give me 5 membership reward points per dollar for a total of 4,684 points. And I guess I flubbed a little bit on that, so that point cost is, all that stuff is technically 2 cents, but the cost per mile is negligible. But anyway, so we also have Expedia plus Rakuten, which I believe I pronounced that right. So with that, it's going to give you 6,384 membership reward points, and that's because it is 8 points, or basically 8% cash back through Rakuten if you book a hotel through Expedia, at least as of the time of this video. And I feel that's fair, because if you're somebody that's really trying to capitalize on your points, you would at least try and search through Rakuten as an option. So I think it's a fair comparison against Poitnshound and Rocketmiles. Now, looking at the two we're actually focusing on, Poitnshound and Rocketmiles, you notice that for Rocketmiles, this was one of those pricings that they partnered with Booking.com to offer, and you see that it's actually the cheapest option out of all that we've went through so far for the Peninsula. And this is going to give you a final price of $936.85, which beats Poitnshound again. You're also going to get way more points, so that's 3,192 Alaska miles. That points per dollar is 3.41, so it's a little bit better than if you just basically swipe. Well, you would actually get your ultimate reward points in reality on top of this. So anyway, so you're getting 3.41, and the point cost is actually negative technically, because you're saving money, and therefore there's no cost per mile either. Finally, we're looking at the Chicago South Loop Hotel, and this is basically my attempt at trying to include a cheaper hotel just to spread the wealth a little bit. And you'll see that if you book this hotel through Priceline, again using Rakuten, that total is going to come out to $381.56, and it's going to yield you $2,549.68. And not cents, that's points. And so those points are going to be mixed up. So you're going to get membership reward points from Rakuten, and you're going to get ultimate reward points from your Sapphire Reserve, or I would get my points from my Sapphire Reserve. So that's going to give you kind of 2-point currencies for that example booking. That's going to give you 8 points per dollar in total, 5 from Rakuten and 3 from your Sapphire Reserve. So that point cost is going to be 0, and that cost per mile is also going to be 0. Poitnshound, this was an odd one for me, because this is a non-refundable rate from Poitnshound, but Priceline and Rocketmiles, their rate for this particular booking is actually refundable. But you'll see that Poitnshound for some reason has the most expensive price with $420.76, and it has a higher taxes price over Rocketmiles, which again, the Wild Wild West, I'm telling you, man. So in total, you're actually gonna get less points again from Poitnshound than you would get from Rocketmiles. And so Poitnshound, they really need to get it together, man. So you're gonna get beat. Well, Rocketmiles is gonna beat Poitnshound again in the points per dollar, and the point cost, and the cost per mile. So there you have it. Ultimately, I think both of these programs have gotten a lot of unnecessary hate. Should you always run the numbers before making a booking? Definitely, but that's with any program. And if you're serious about your points and miles, you should probably be doing this anyway. I believe there are some legitimate use cases for both programs. Poitnshound has their kind of exclusive partners, and Rocketmiles does offer some really good value. As you saw in the examples, in some cases, you even get cheaper prices than through other OTAs or even the hotel directly itself. And I want to harp on Alaska Miles particularly right now, because you'll hear that one of the best ways to earn Alaska miles, this is just flat out buying from the Alaska Miles website. But as you saw in our example, you can actually earn Alaska miles, basically paying a little bit more, but getting them at a way better rate than you would if you just bought them from Alaska Mileage Plus. And this is accounting for those bonuses. I would love to hear what you guys think about these two programs in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, leave me some feedback, whether it be a like or a dislike or an angry comment in the comment section below. And if you want to catch more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next upload. But remember, the one thing more valuable than your points is your money, and the one thing more valuable than your money is your time. But until next time, peace.